Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at an unexpected core breaker in the Ultra League Halloween Cup, NIHILEGO. NIHILEGO is a rock and poison type Pokemon with the moveset of Poison Jab, Rock Slide, and Sludge Bomb. For the team, I ran a Dragon Breath Giratina on the lead, Kanto Muck as the safe switch to hopefully bait out my opponent's ground type, and then NIHILEGO as the closer, and I was able to go positive on the day. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out NIHILEGO in action in the Ultra League Halloween Cup. Hopping into the first match, picking up a bit of a tough lead, Giratina into Drifblim. I'm going to stay in this lead to start, but I will need to save switch out of here eventually and check for either a ground type or an Escavalier. They're going to go for the Icy Wind, I'm going to tank it, bank the energy, and then save switch into my Muck. Muck is going to farm up, and they're going to be firing off another move. I'm going to let this through. They do go for another Icy Wind to get the debuff, and then they're going to bring in Tentacruel. Now, Tentacruel does take super effective damage from Thunder Punch, but Thunder Punch does not get same type attack bonus, and they were just able to successfully lower my attack with an Icy Wind. They're going to fire off a Scald. Scald is not going to KO, but unfortunately, neither will these back-to-back Thunder Punches. I'm going to be firing off the first. The first one is going to get them into the yellow. The second one is going to be getting them a lot lower, but it's still not going to be enough to take them out, as Tentacruel is going to be able to Poison Jab down just before I reach my next move. I'm going to bring in Giratina and basically just use it to absorb energy here. They're going to fire off a Scald. Scald does not do a lot of damage, and I get the farm down. And now I have the Ancient Power loaded if they bring back in the Drifblim. In comes the Drifblim. I'm going to be firing off the Ancient Power. Ancient Power gets the shield. In comes NIHILEGO. They have Galarian Weezing in the back. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. Hopping into the next match, leading Giratina into Obstagoon, I'm going to save switch into Kanto Muck to again check and see if they have a ground type. They're going to fire off the Night Slash, perfectly fine by me, that's not going to do a lot of damage. They're going to farm up quite a bit, and they are going to bring in a Shadow Nidoqueen. I'm very happy to bait out this Nidoqueen because Nidoqueen absolutely crushes NIHILEGO. I should be able to reach the double Dark Pulse. The second one is not going to be fatal, but it is going to be getting the Nidoqueen very low. Dark Pulse gets the Nidoqueen into the red. They're going to overfarm quite a bit and then fire off a move before I'm able to reach my next charge move. I let it through. They do full send the Earth Power, and I'm going to bring in my Giratina. They're not going to be able to reach an Earth Power here, so I can let this go. It is just the Poison Fang, and I'm able to farm down. I know that the Goon did leave with a little bit of energy here, so that is something I have to be careful of considering my defense has been lowered. They bring in the Goon, I'm going to be firing off the Dragon Claw. The Dragon Claw plus the Dragon Breath damage is going to add up here. I land the Dragon Claw, I bring in NIHILEGO, and they're going to be firing off a move. I'm going to let this through. They're going to go for the Night Slash, and in the back, they have a Shadow Crobat, and NIHILEGO is about to absolutely feast. Rock Slide gets the shield. Crobat continues to farm, but NIHILEGO is absolutely unrelenting in this matchup. Rock Slide number 2, able to get the shield. They do have a ton of energy here, and I have a tough choice to make. I decide to let it through. It's just a Poison Fang bait. I'm going to shield this one just so I can guarantee to get that final Rock Slide off. This Rock Slide is going to easily be enough to take out the Crobat, and with shield advantage, Giratina can comfortably take out the Goon. In comes the Giratina, farming up to the Dragon Claw, and the opponent concedes the match. Hopping into the next match, leading Giratina altered into the mirror match. I do need to stay in this mirror match to start. Interestingly enough, my opponent is actually running Shadow Claw. While Shadow Claw is definitely preferred for Open Ultra, for the Ultra League Halloween Cup, Dragon Breath is going to serve you a lot better, as it gives Giratina a lot better play against Dark Poisons. Here, I'm able to grab a shield advantage, and now I can save switch into my Muck. They're staying in and firing off a Dragon Claw, and that's perfectly fine by me. Kanto Muck is extremely tanky. I'm able to absorb the damage, and now I'm going to return fire with the Dark Pulse. This is going to do a lot of damage if it lands, which it does, and then my opponent sends in a Galarian Weezing. I do have a pretty decent matchup here. My best matchup is definitely against NIHILEGO, but either way, I'm able to do quite a lot of chip damage here. I'm just going to let this go. Even if they overheat, that's fine. My opponent actually goes for the Play Rough bait, and that allows me to reach another Thunder Punch. Let's go. This Weezing is now in the red health. They're going to farm up as much as possible and then fire off another move. At this point, again, I'm not going to be shielding, and I'm just going to get farm on my NIHILEGO, because NIHILEGO is looking to close out this game. In comes Giratina. Dragon Claw not going to do a lot of damage, so I'm going to let it go. In the back, they have Tapu Fini. We are both hitting each other for super effective damage, but I have shield advantage here, so I will be able to close out this game. Rock Slide bait gets the shield, and I'm going to be able to reach the Sludge Bomb, which will easily take out the Tapu Fini. I get to the Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb will be more than enough to take care of the Tapu Fini. Opponent top lefts on the CMP tie, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Giratina into another Obstagoon. I'm going to stay in this lead to start and then go for a Night Slash catch onto my Muck. That is massive. Muck is going to be able to absorb this damage, no problem. But the Obstagoon gets the boost, and that is quite unfortunate. My opponent farms up, and they actually switch out of the boosted Obstagoon into a Scavalier. That is very, very fortunate for me. I'm going to fire off the Dark Pulse, and the nice thing is I was able to bait out the Escav, so that way, hopefully, my NIHILEGO will have a good matchup in the endgame. Drill Run is going to take me out, and I'm going to bring in Giratina. These Dragon Breaths are resisted, but they definitely do add up onto the Escav. Escav is going to fire off a Drill Run. I tank that, no problem. I'm going to continue to farm up, and then go for the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw is resisted, but Dragon Claw plus a little bit of farm should be enough to KO. I'm expecting they're going to be bringing back in the Obstagoon, and now I have a pretty sizable energy advantage. I'm going to fire off the Dragon Claw. That gets them into the yellow, and I'm firing off Dragon Claw number 2, continuing to apply pressure onto the Obstagoon. Dragon Claw gets them low, and they're finally going to start firing off charge moves. One Night Slash is not going to be lethal from this range, so I am going to let that through. They're going to fire off Night Slash number 2, and you know what? I'm going to trust in NIHILEGO. In comes NIHILEGO. In the back, they have a second rock counter. They have Genesect, and at this point, this game is over. They are actually running Technoblast Water, which is very, very cool, but unfortunately, either a Technoblast Water or a Magnet Bomb is going to hit me for super effective damage, and Genesect is able to outpace NIHILEGO here. So I am going to be firing off the Rock Slide. Rock Slide is going to grab that final shield. They continue to farm. I'm going to commit shields. My only hope is that they go straight Technoblast, but at this point, they've recognized that they can go straight Magnet Bomb. This Rock Slide is not going to be enough to KO. As you see, Genesect barely able to hang on and get to the Magnet Bomb. Magnet Bomb takes out NIHILEGO as we lose a heartbreaking game. Hopping into the next match, leading Giratina into Crobat. This is another matchup where having Ancient Power definitely comes in handy on Giratina. I'm going to stay in this lead to start, go for the Ancient Power, but I will be looking to save switch out of here. So Ancient Power does get the shield. I farm up and then save switch into Muck, and I'm able to bait out the Escav. Everything working exactly as I need it to so far. They're going to go for the Drill Run. Drill Run is not going to be enough to KO, so I'm able to tank it and then return fire with the Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse is going to do quite a lot of damage. Escav definitely not known for its tankiness. I'm going to farm up, go for another Dark Pulse, and they're forced to fire off a Drill Run to prevent that damage from landing. That's perfectly fine by me, as I have shield advantage, and I've now baited out their Escav. So I'm just going to go for an incredibly aggressive farm down here. I do live at Drill Run, so I'm not worried about that whatsoever. I'm going to tank it, fully farm down, and I should be able to leave with back-to-back Ancient Powers for the Crobat. I'm expecting my opponent is going to be bringing in the Crobat here. Opponent thinking about it, and they do, and I'm firing off that first Ancient Power. This will do quite a lot of damage. Opponent commits the shield. I go for the second, but I lose CMP. I will commit the shield. Opponent baits me with a Poison Fang, but I will get to land this Ancient Power. This Ancient Power is going to be getting them low, and then it is NIHILEGO time, but in the back, they have a second counter user in Toxicroak. This is quite bad. I'm just going to let this go. Mud Bomb is going to KO, and I'm going to trust in Giratina. They had two very strong NIHILEGO answers in the back, so now it's all up to Giratina to try and clutch this game. I'm going to farm up as much as I can, and I do get to the back-to-back moves. Oh my goodness, I may actually have a shot here. Dragon Claw KOs. I go for the Dragon Claw, but I lose CMP. Can Giratina survive? Poison Fang, Giratina able to live. Is this Dragon Claw enough to KO? Yes, it is, as we're able to secure the win. Hopping into the next match, leading Giratina into Runerigus, and honestly, this is a pretty big problem. Runerigus has a positive matchup against this entire team, meaning that if I see it, it's going to be a very tough battle. I'm going to let the first move through. Shadow Ball is going to land and deal a ton of damage. I'm going to return fire with the Dragon Claw, but Dragon Claw only hits for neutral, and Runerigus is very bulky. Runerigus goes for the farm down, but I'm able to reach one final Dragon Claw. That is going to be getting their Runerigus pretty low, so I'm able to grab a shield. That's quite nice. I'm going to bring in my Muck and use it just to absorb energy here. They're going to fire off a Sand Tomb. Sand Tomb not going to be doing a whole lot, and they're going to fire off Sand Tomb number 2. I'm going to let this through as well. It is going to start to get me quite low. I'm going to overfarm slightly and then fire off the Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse is going to be able to take them out. We'll have to see what they have in the bag. They have Shadow Drapion, and I respond with my NIHILEGO. NIHILEGO does take a lot of damage from the crunch here. Crunch lands, and it nearly does half, and they have Galarian Wheezing in the back. So this is a very good matchup for NIHILEGO, but at half health, honestly, it gets a little scary, because now an Overheat, it won't quite KO, but it will get close. They're going to fire off the Play Rough. Play Rough does get shielded. I'm going to try and commit to the farm down here, but my opponent is able to get to another move. That is not great. They full send the Overheat. I am able to get the farm down, and I leave with double Rock Slide loaded. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to take down the Drapion here with a Rock Slide combined with a move from the Muck. So I'm going to be firing off Rock Slide number 2. That does quite a bit of damage. I continue to farm up. I switch into the Muck, and I'm able to catch. Now, hopefully, I can live this crunch and get to a move, but as you see, I fall just short of getting to a move. They are able to leave with a charge move loaded. Crunch will take down my NIHILEGO, and that is a good game. Hopping into the final match, leading Giratina into yet another Obstagoon. We have seen Obstagoon leads quite a few times through these battles, so I am experimenting with trying to play them different ways. So this time, I believe I tank a Night Slash, fire off a Dragon Claw, and then I try and catch Night Slash number 2. So I am going to be firing off the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw will do some nice chip damage onto the Obstagoon. I'm going to farm up, switch, and go for the catch, but my opponent is able to hold on to their energy. They go for the Thunder Punch catch onto Nidoqueen. So they've banked a bunch of energy on the Goon. I fire off the Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse, as we've seen, does not do a lot to Nidoqueen, but all chip damage will help here. I try and go for the Dark Pulse. They're going to be firing off the Earth Power to prevent that from happening. Earth Power gets me low, but since they're a non-Shadow Nidoqueen, I'm able to tank it and still land the Dark Pulse, which is quite nice, as that will put them into farm down range for Giratina. In comes Giratina, and I'm just going to full commit to the farm down here. They're going to be firing off a move. It's the Earth Power. That does start to get me quite low, but I'm going to be able to leave with a lot of energy here. They bring in the Goon. I switch in NIHILEGO, and I'm able to catch. That's big. It's just a Night Slash. In the back, they have another Crobat. And as we've seen, NIHILEGO absolutely feasts on flying types. I'm going for the Rock Slide. Rock Slide gets the shield. I continue to farm. This is enough for a Shadow Ball. Tough decision to make here. Do I shield? Yes, I do. And it's the Shadow Ball. And with that, it looks like I can actually win this game. Let's go. Rock Slide gets the shield. Crobat continues to farm. This can only be a Poison Fang. Poison Fang is going to get me low. I have to watch for a potential catch. Opponent is going to just fire off another Poison Fang here. I will let this through, and again, I have to watch for the snipe. They go for the snipe with Obstagoon, but I'm able to catch onto my Giratina. Let's go. I'm going to commit the shield, and I'm going to fire off the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw should just about take out the Obstagoon here. I'm able to get the farm down. Back in comes Crobat, and I reach the Ancient Power. Ancient Power will hit for super effective damage. That gets them low. I Dragon Breath down, and that is a good game. All in all, I really enjoyed using NIHILEGO. To be honest, I wasn't 100% sold on the idea of a rock poison type having success in this meta, but I was able to go slightly positive on the day with it. I will say, it does definitely feel like more of a budget option, as if you have the ability to build something like a Shadow Drapion, you're probably going to get a lot more consistent performance. However, if you're running into a lot of Galarian Weezings and Crobats, NIHILEGO makes both of those Pokemon absolutely miserable. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible, so thank you guys oh so very much, and until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.